Welcome to another episode of the Read Pile. Today I'm talking about Amulet. I mentioned this in, I think, the Dragon Ball video. This is a 9-volume series. The 9th and final volume is coming out in early February. And I wanted to reread the series because it had been a number of years. I'll get into years at some point. This originally came out in 2008, Volume 2, 2009, Volume 3, 2010. And then there were gaps. But again, I'll address that in those videos. There has been a significant gap specifically between Volume 8 and 9, and I had only read these the once, so I needed a refresher to know what had and was happening. And it's a great series. I wanted to do this video. It's going to be 3 videos in total in order to get more eyes on the series, hopefully. There's going to be, I think, minor spoilers for Volume 1, and then I'm going to be more vague about Volumes 2 and 3. We'll see how that goes, because it's a lot to cover. These are roughly just over 200 pages a piece, so it's 600 pages total. Cat hair on the inside cover. It starts with tragedy, right? We've got this family driving along a road. I think this is the one time the mother's name gets mentioned. After this, she's just mom. But here, Karen, which will help when addressing her later. So there's this car accident, and then it gets worse. Most of the family gets out, except for the father, who winds up going over the cliff. This is how the series starts. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. It then jumps ahead a couple of years. 3 years later, the family is moving around and nobody's happy with them. It's a nice covered bridge. The art is gorgeous if you haven't picked up on that yet. So the family moves out to this old house. It was her grandfather's home, and nobody's been there for a number of years. The grandfather went missing. This house has been sitting empty, and the first thing they do is clean it, where the daughter, Emily, she finds this book, something underneath, steals something, she puts her hand down, it pricks her, and then reveals, it flips over, lights up. This thing, piece of jewelry, right? She's like, alright, I'm going to put that thing on, and if you haven't figured it out yet, this is the titular amulet, as shown there. It's usually red. Red-ish. The knot, when the brother goes to put it around her neck, it ties itself. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. So, things continue. Cleaning as far as family history. There's some drama between the mother and the daughter. So here they are sleeping. They hear a noise. The amulet starts talking to her. Not, again, good sign. But there's this noise, right? And the family goes to investigate. They go together. They run into this weird thing. And then that takes them to this. Again, not a good sign. And the wall closes up behind him. Like, none of this is good. This is going on. So the mother's calling for her children from inside this thing. Just yikes, right? And then they immediately get into a fight. The amulet has some magic powers. She winds up getting out. But, oh, I'm sorry. The brother, Navin, winds up inside, not her. My mistake. So he gets out, but there's this chase. They're still trying to get the mother out, and the amulet is talking to her, and then they wind up taking these giant mushrooms and floating away. Except then a bird lands on the brother's mushroom and is going to eat it. So again, magic smashes into the bird, and there's this house, right? It's gorgeous. There are occasionally these pages or double splash pages where it's borderless, and I always think it's just gorgeous. This is the standard art, and this is I'm gonna say extra effort to put in, but this is the beginning. So there's an amulet, there's a family, there is this guy, who we'll talk more about in later videos, but this is an elf. So there are people, there are other people, not just creatures, in this fantasy world, and then there's this guy, some robots. It's a kid's adventure story, right? It's a family, brother and sister, and their mother get sucked into a fantasy world, and then they are struggling to survive, is the main thrust of the first volume. Things then shift in later volumes. This guy is introduced, his name is Leon. There are some animal-ish people, and there's airships by the time we get to volume 3, and a lost city, and characters change. But this is the beginning, and I don't want to talk too much about what happens later, but I will say volume 1 does not end well. They are trying to get the mother back for most of the first volume, and by the time they do get her back, she's been poisoned, and then they need to get a cure for that. So it's... I would think, ordinarily, by the end of the first volume, you get some sort of happy-ish ending, you get some sort of conclusion, and this does not go that route. They are still in trouble, they don't have a solution, and she just wants to get home. Emily just wants to go home, get out of this world, and, you know, I can respect that, but it's the start of a 9-volume series, and I don't know if it was always set out to be that length, or if things developed as they went, but it's a great beginning. I'm just saying, if you're hoping for some sort of conclusion by the end of Volume 1, you will get a minor conclusion, but not everything resolved, is what I'm saying. And I think at least the next 2 volumes have more of a standard conclusion of we have reached the end of what is a clear chapter before beginning something new. So just structurally, I'm mentioning that Volume 1 doesn't really end that way. So, highly recommend it. You've seen quite a bit of the art I've shown off, so you have that. It's very well written, and there's, I don't know, I think it's an incredible series. It's good for, I'm going to say kids. I don't know what age bracket, because I don't really, I don't know. But, you know, young kids. There's fantasy, there's adventure, there's danger. So maybe slightly older, I don't know, like 10 to 12, maybe? I don't know. Who am I? I'm not a parent. The series is really good. It's recommended, and I will be doing the next video on volumes 4 through 6, and then I'll get 7 through 9 once volume 9 is out. But, yes, I wanted to reread this. I wanted to recommend it to everyone, and now I've started that, and I can reread the next set. Thanks for watching.